Uzichipi, Samantha Wadidika, Chanel Panaz, Kayla Thompson, Thomas, Olivia Buffalo, Jocelyn Sutherland, Joel Chacus, Remy Mike, Randy Isnana, Candace Leask, Amanda Uzichipi, and the famous Rod Isnana. Okay. And at this time, I'd like to call up Chief John Wadidika to do opening prayer.
Okay.
And now we'll have our flag song. Now for a victory song. Thank you, Round Plane. Now I'd like to call up our MC, Carmen Forstar.
Thank you to our singers, Round Plane singers, for opening us up here with our 2024 Youth Summit. We're going to be going into some dignitary speeches, and then we will be talking about this evening and how everything is going to go. I want to say pidame to my Dekshi, Itansha, John, for the opening prayer. And thank you to each and every one of you guys for acknowledging the song and acknowledging the prayer. And to our flag carriers, I say pidamaye. Not all of our leadership were able to make it today. And with the leadership that we have here, we're going to ask them to do some opening remarks to our youth here. Our youth from Wapaitin, Beard East, Tatanka Naji, and Wood Mountain. The first one I'd like to call up is Chief John Wadidika, my Dekshi from Wapaitin, Dakota Nation.
Okay, just want to say good day to everyone. Shake all your hands. Welcome you all here. I want to start off by saying I identify as late, and my pronouns are almost there. Just kidding. I want to thank QBOW for all they've done for our community, and the communities within QBOW. Many of the leadership cannot be here, but before we joined QBOW in 2015, many of you, I think you're too young to understand, but we were at the mercy of the Ministry of Social Services, and it wasn't a good time. But young people, I want to talk to you the way I talked to my grandson. My grandson was sitting at the drum, and I thank him for being here. I want to speak to young people the way I speak to my grandson. You know, all of you have a wonderful gift. You came into this world with a wonderful gift, and that wonderful gift is a clean slate to walk through the world, so you can make a better life for yourself. So rule number one is you get older, young people, and these are life lessons. Rule number one is you don't co-sign for anybody. That's rule number one. Rule number two, you know, you're going to hear go to school, and so on and so forth. You're going to hear that throughout your life. But these are life lessons, right? And some of the lessons that I tell my Takoja are very, very, very hard, but I want you to understand. See, 150 years ago, we were still living in teepees, right? Our bodies did not adapt to drug and alcohol the way the newcomers and the settlers have adapted. So we react a lot differently. Keep in mind that we're hardwired as First Nation people to eat 3 different types of foods. We're hardwired in a survival instinct, young people: salt, sugar, and fat. But I want to tell you a story. You know, our brains are made up 95% cholesterol. That's what our brains are made of. Pure cholesterol. When you eat salt, salt is made up of 3 different things. Made up of silica sand, made up of glass, and iodine. So and we can't digest it as human beings, we can't. So what happens is it goes through your veins, arteries, and the glass cuts it, eh? And your brain sends out the cholesterol, and that's what plugs your arteries. Lifelong lessons, because when you're our age, ready to retire at some point in time, the average Canadian on retirement will spend 10 years in and out of the hospital. So look after your health as much as you can. Keep busy, keep active, keep moving. And enjoy life in moderation. I want to say that. Enjoy life in moderation, young people. Because at the end of the day, walking through this world is a lifetime of learning, and we're never ever going to learn everything. So we need to work together. We need to work together. It doesn't matter what tribe we're from. It doesn't matter what province, whether we can speak the language, whether we can't, but work together. Work together, mitakuyapi. That's very, very important. I want to thank Grand Chief Brian Hardlot for coming in the grand entry. He's going to come and give some opening comments. Very wise, very smart man. I worked with him. He was a band counselor one time. I was a band counselor. And this is the path that we were put on. Our future. In order for you to make that transition, to be adults, parents, and grandparents, work together. That is very, very important. and take it in moderation. With that, I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. Wopi de tanko kanichapikaha. And I think I found two cell phones here. Ho, 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 ho. Thank you, Manise.
Thank you to Itancha Wadidika from Wapayton Dakota Nation. Next on the agenda, I know it's very hard to get our leadership here. We always try to plan ahead of time in order to have them come. So I'm very grateful to have our leadership that are here because they are the ones that speak for us. They're the ones that are at those hard tables on behalf of us, and they're always fighting for our people. So I just want to welcome from the Prince Albert Grand Council, our Grand Chief Hardlot.
Didn't thank you. Washte, Carmen. 4-star. That's the coolest name. 4-star. When I'm speaking to young people here, for some reason I get a little nervous. You know, it's okay with speaking with the Prime Minister and everybody else, but young people. And I know we got a good crowd here. You know, there's a pretty significant, important, very important event here about 10 days ago. Question to the youth here with the two nations here. Remember what that was? Some of the Wapayton and the Standing Buffalo. What happened in this very place 10 days ago? Apology? Did I hear that? Yeah, there was an apology from the federal minister of what they call now Indigenous Services Canada. Back in the day, it was Indian Affairs and then Aboriginal Affairs. But that apology, it's good I think, our teachers in our schools, in our Dakota and Lakota schools, to talk about that this coming fall to their students, because it's important. It's history. It's history. What happened here 10 days ago from the federal minister, and I had the honor, privilege to be here to witness that. A long time coming. You know, it's 150 years, but they were here already before that 150-year period. So I just wanted to mention that. The other thing I wanted to mention here is I see a lot of bunny hugs that say Kiyam. So what does that mean? I'll ask the one with the red bunny hug there. Looking at me, talking to his friend now. What does Kiyam mean? It's Cree, by the way. When you say Kiyam to someone, what are you saying to him? Yeah, you're saying Kiyam. Oh, Kiyam. You're saying, it's okay. It's okay. Some people will interpret it a different way. But that's a nice way. It's okay. Kiyam. Yeah. So I also wanted to say, do a little prayer in my Cree language, but it is the Lord's Prayer, the prayer that we're all familiar with. But I usually say mine first in Cree and then translate it to English. I want to say that the prayer for you for these next 4 days, I believe, is a conference. 4 days for your safety and for to learn and for you to listen to the presenters and listen to your chaperones. Say, I want to do that prayer for you. Okay, so I'll do it if you don't mind standing up. I'll do the Lord's Prayer for you. Tinigi, nochtauinan, kitsigi our Father who art in heaven. Kitawiganatidihtaan gawithuin, hallowed be thy name. Kitibidihtsigiin min toyotihtsibado, thy kingdom come. Itidihtaan min kitaytotsigati utaskigaisayagihtsigisu, and thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Min nanos kagisgagautsapmatsiak. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. As we forgive them that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory. Gaki, minagaki, forever and ever. Ho ho. Amen. Thank you. So that's the Lord's Prayer, but in my language, and that you learn that the Cree and the Dakota nations, you learn that in your school in your own language, and it's important for me, anyways, to say it in my language and also the English language. I'm timing myself here. I don't want to speak too long here, but I know you youth have a longer attention span than some of the ministers that we talk to. So I'm just grateful. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation, Carmen. I want to thank the child agency here, QBOW, and the 4 nation flags that are here. I believe this is help me out, your youth. That flag there. Okay, this one. Standing Buffalo. This one. Yeah. Wapayton and that one. Wood Mountain, yeah. Okay, I just like to thank the agency and really for your work, in particular the kids that you're assembling here in the next 4 days. I thank you for that. It's very, very important in our work, in the work that you do, in the work that we do as an agency. A lot of things. I think you've come a long way. From where I am, Lac La Ronge, Indian Band, we come a long way, But the things more to the staff here, thanking you for the work that you do. In our case, 1993, 94, we were so happy that we have jurisdiction with our children now. At that time, little did we know then, that we were getting still kind of not being equal to what the provinces got in terms of a per child in social services compared to our agencies when we got them. So I'm grateful, that the compensation for that will be coming soon, and I know you're working hard for that, for the children that were in our agencies, and also the caregivers in our agencies in that time. You're doing all that work, you're going back that time, and all the good work has been done. Now, the other very important thing that we have to look at, is C92 down south. Over there, we have lots of rock, lots of rivers, lots of lakes. We weren't in that farmland like it is down south. But the way we grew up is pretty much the same as a person like Keith, growing up in this reserve, and also the chief here. In my generation, it was different. It was totally different. With our education, we had to go to residential school, youth, kids. We had to go to residential school. And in my case, it was Prince Albert, but a lot of the other ones, like Keith, were Labret, all those residential, and that's something that you should learn in the school also, very important. But not just the school, also the agency should be teaching the kids this part of the history and what happened in that history, from where did it come from, the residential schools. And but growing up in our communities, in our reserves, it was different. It was a different time and age. Me growing up, I can say we were still semi-nomadic, if you know what that word means. It was like the people down south here moving from area to area. But 50 years ago, in my generation, we were still semi-nomadic, believe it or not. And in our case, it was not moving from an area, it was moving from an island to an island on a lake, where the commercial fishing, where the fish were, to follow the fish. Which my dad and me and my late brother did as helpers. Growing up, learning that work ethic, to learn how to work, to do that job of cleaning the fish and selling this fish to make money, to make a livelihood. But it was different in my age also. I seen the last of the dog team. Down south here, it was the horse and the buggies, right? But we had the dog team up north. The same thing. It was used for travel, getting wood and all that stuff. I seen that. And I even worked as a young person in the summertime to set a net, go over there, get the fish out, and go feed the dogs. Because the dogs have to be fed through the summer. Make sure that they're healthy going into the winter. It was just different. We didn't have the snowmobiles that we have today. Everything was different. What we have, the houses that we have, we didn't have the schools. That's why we were sent to the residential schools. This is important information because to appreciate what you have today, the schools in your communities. And it's so easy. You have your parents to go to school and the nice homes that you live at, even though we still struggle in our communities and we fight for those, we advocate for those, the homes. But it was different. I'm just saying, youth, it was different. And you learn that, your history, very important, that in the Dakota nations that you learn about the treaties that come from the east to the west to our area. In the treaty nations, Treaty 4, very important that the teachers, but maybe not only the teachers, again, maybe the agency itself, teach the children about the treaty. We didn't have that when we were going to school. We learned about Christopher Columbus, how he landed, in Newfoundland. That's how we were taught. Discovered us. Social studies. So it's important to also know the real history as a people that we're here today. So I can go on, because with the youth here, what's happening right now in our communities? We're having cultural camps, and I like this, having a youth conference in the middle of the summer. So I commend the staff for that. The powwows. There's powwows every weekend, traveling. In the north, it's cultural camps. Something that's come up in the last 30 years is fish derbies. We have fish derbies. That's something that we never had before, because we were taught not to take fish. That was our livelihood, and not use it for game. But we still do it today. Some areas that we've never listened. My name is Brian Harlot. It's a Carmen introduced me. I, and I still, and I encourage that for you guys. I'm a Cree speaker, and I really encourage you, don't be disappointed. Don't be discouraged. You know that you maybe you know your language, but you need to learn some more. You got a lot of time. And that's the other thing about our schools now. We can teach our children our languages, our culture. So I encourage, even the agency again, to teach the children the language and the culture, what we're going to be doing here in the next 4 days. I still, in the north, we're pretty lucky, because we're surrounded by lakes, hills, rocky hills, trees, and we still have what they call trap lines. Do you know what a trap line is? It's a piece of land that the government set aside for you to manage for trapping. Is that trapping? If you know what trapping is we learned that from the white people, the traders that they come, the trade of trapping, and we excelled. And I know in the south, the people also trapped. And the other thing I mentioned was commercial fishing. That's also something that we learned from the white people, and we also excelled in that. But we have those portions of land, and I still go there. I still go there. Go there with my daughters, take them there, teach them fishing, trapping. I still trap. This bear claws that you see, they're real. They're real. I took them out of a bear that was harvested by these people, and they didn't take the claws, and they do you mind if I take them? And they gave it to me, and then I had to honor the bear by helping make the meat and put it in the smoke rack, smoking it and eating the bear. It was always used by our people. But then when I got the hide, this is tanned moose hide. So I had to make a trade to the woman that I got the hide from, and it was a beaver pelt that I snared under the water in the wintertime. And I didn't, this lady makes gloves, whatever, with the hide. And but she has to do all the work of getting the fat and putting it in a stretcher and tanning it. So I don't do that, but I harvest the bear. So we made the trade, and we always do that. I always do that to her every year. The animals that I trap and snare, but I still do that. I still do that, and I'm proud that I still do that. The animals that I trap, they used to be a delicacy. They still are a delicacy to our people, and it helped them. When the chief talked about health here, briefly, with these animals, that was the food of our people. It kept them healthy, like the muskrat. You know what the muskrat's main food is this time of the year? It's what they call rat root. We have land-based programs that be involved in that, youth. Learn your culture, learn your language, listen to your teachers, listen to your parents, listen to the people that are going to be presenting here, listen to your chaperones, listen to the workers. I want to thank you for listening. There's so much when you're talking to you, there's so many stories, eh? There's so many stories to tell to the youth. There was last thing. There was a group from Yorkton Tribal Council, youth, like you guys. They always go to our territory, and they go on the river. And one time I heard these chaperones say, well, they took them to Nistoyak. The chief were in Nistoyak, yes. And the kids, they didn't want to be there. They didn't want to go home. But you know what? After 10 days, they didn't want to go home. Being in that land, fishing, doing all that stuff, fighting off the mosquitoes maybe. But they were so happy. So I also encourage, especially our education in our First Nations, but also maybe again on the agencies is for that cultural exchange. That cultural exchange. It's so important to meet other youth from other places like up north. You know, that's very important. I'll tell you, we went on a student exchange in 1979. That's a long time ago. And we went to British Columbia with the First Nations in the Abbotsford area, Hope area. And you know what? In that time, all that time, 40 years, some 40 years later, I am the position I am. I go to meetings, and all of a sudden in a break, one of the chiefs come and see me from British Columbia, and he says, "Did you say you're from Stanley Mission?" "Yes, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, in 1979, there was a group of kids that we did in the cultural exchange." And he said to me, "Well, you know what? I was one of them, one of those students." So we became friends. Then Dalton Silver from Abbotsford, Chief Dalton Silver, true story. You know, that you can have good friends for life, for life. So with that story, I spoke a little long there, Carmen. But I again want to thank you. I'll stick around here for a bit. Listen to what's happening, Carmen. And again, thank you. I commend you, all the staff, for putting this on and the work that you do in our communities and the agencies. And I encourage you to keep up the good work. Nanaskamun, Tina Gibidabia, aho.
Thank you to Grand Chief Hardlot and also Itancha Wadidaka. Our intention here in the next few days is to try and provide as much information as we can to you guys. And it's a lot of hard work that went into the preparation for this event. It's important that you guys are respectful when you guys are listening to the speakers that are up here. Our next speaker on the agenda is going to be our board chair for QBOW, Keith Pratt.
Good evening, everybody. It's a little bright up here, but again, thank you very much for those last speeches. I want to thank, I guess, for the grand entry that we had, and also for the prayers. That's always something that we do, back in our communities, is that we start everything out with a prayer, and that's for good things to happen over the next couple of days. I also want to say, it's really, I don't know how to feel, with all the young people that are here, and I kind of spent my life, talking to young people over the years. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing a little session on Paul Dojak Youth Center, and that's a place that I work. You don't want to be there, but I'm going to give a little history of that tomorrow. But just listening to some of the stories, they're awesome. I mean, we can, go on and just listen to the stories of how interesting they are. Just in terms of some of the ways that, some of our youth and the way that things changed. The same thing with my life. Growing up, basically growing up in poverty, where we had to work and we had to hunt. Back south, we had to hunt rabbits and ducks in the springtime, and those were the things that we grew up on. And if you look at today, kind of thing, in some of the ways, it's totally different nowadays. But I want to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Just this whole planning session, the cultural part of things is, just something that's been really coming to light in the last 15 to 20 years, kind of thing, where our culture needs to be ingrained in some of our youth. And again, by that I mean that some of the prayer that that we done today, that's the one thing that you have to do is learn how to pray. And when I talked a little bit about that, we've always been taught that when things don't go good in our lives as young people, we forget to pray to the Creator, You know, there's a higher power that can help us. And there is a lot of things that are going on, especially my family. In the last 6 years, I've lost 6 grandchildren on my late sister's side to fentanyl and overdoses, that kind of thing. So it's very sad. And these are young people in their 20s, early 30s. And I just had one that passed away yesterday again on fentanyl. So we need to know what we're doing. We need to let you guys know. We need to explain, you know, some of the stuff that, you know, when you get under peer pressure, you know, a lot of young people, you know, want others to be part of that. And sometimes these young people are taking you know, these drugs, and then they're not knowing that they're laced with, you know, drugs that kill you, you know, pass away. So a lot of times you know, the things that it affects mostly is your family. And, you know, when that happens, if you don't listen, we heard a little bit about listening. And I want to thank both chiefs for, you know, some of the language that they've taken. I've got to know Brian here in the last few years, and he's kind of my best new friend, kind of. So it's been, I've got to know him quite at some meetings kind of thing. So I know, you know, some of the understandings of, you know, what you have to do in speaking for the youth. And some of those things that we do, as well as Chief Wadidika speaks up lots, you know, with the governments about, you know, some of the things that we're doing, you know, to help us to assist with the young people. You know, back in the 60s, you know, that's where I grew up, and, you know, 50 years ago, you know, I talked about that as well, Chief Hardlot. You know, I grew up in the same thing with, you know, no running water, and we had to cut wood, you know, to keep warm at night, haul water, that kind of thing. So when you tell that to the young people nowadays, and my grandchildren and my kids, they kind of look at you and laugh at you, right? And they don't believe that, you know, some of the things that, you know, that we learn to work. And, you know, it's all about work ethic. If you didn't cut the wood, then you froze that night. And who was to blame for that? Well, it was me and my brothers, right? So we knew that we had to cut wood all the time, every day pretty well, and those kind of things. I just want to say one thing, that being the younger brother of some of my older brothers, we used to go hunt rabbits, and but I couldn't shoot. They used to have 22s, and I couldn't because I was too young yet, but I had to carry all the damn rabbits home about 2 miles from the bushes, so everybody had their tasks, right? So, but nowadays we do little things a little different. We don't, you know, we just look in the fridge and food is there, right? And it's not that, and some of our families have a hard time, you know, explaining, you know, when we actually run out of water sometimes at our, you know, in our bands and some of our cisterns, a lot of times the young people that I know, you know, even my own relatives, can't go without water. You know, and so you can imagine how we had to haul our own water. You know, nowadays, you know, when the taps don't run and you can't shower, you know, that's a big problem. That's stressful on our young people. So I'm just saying that those times are different, you know, back when I grew up. Tomorrow I want to spend a little bit of time on family. You know, my parents were involved with alcohol. You know, we had family a little bit, they're kind of dabbling, and because you can be able to get, you know, marijuana now and buy it, and it's legal. And I always tell them, be careful what these guys give you, right? Because you never know what it's laced with. You could be gone, you know, tonight or tomorrow, or that kind of thing. So all these warnings, you know, are very important to listen to your elders. And that's who I always, you know, grew up. My mother was kind of the one that kind of kept us in line, my older brothers and my younger sisters and brothers. So we had a big family as well, so it was really difficult for, you know, for all of us to, you know, and I really thank my parents for, you know, putting food on the table, but we also had to do that. And I just want to say, but we also had to do that. And I just want to say that with the conference here, we have a lot of good speakers that are, you know, going to be here in the next couple of days, and I think that's really, I see some of the, I guess, presenters here that, you know, are going to tell you good things and how to do things differently in your lives. And, you know, to listen to each other. You know, if you see somebody doing something, you know, correct them, because those are your buddies. You know, peer pressure, that's going to, you know, somebody's being bullied. You know, speak up for that guy that's being bullied. You know, tell people to stop. You know, you'll get more, you know, that'll help you in the long run. And always be good to people. That's what I was taught, you know, growing up. And today I see that, you know, being nice to people, you know, 30, 40, 50 years later, I'm still friends with, like Chief Hardlot said, you know, it goes in a full circle sometimes with your friends. You don't see them. Then all of a sudden, hey, you know, like I'm asked a lot of times, Keith, whatever, but I don't know them, right? Because I haven't seen them in years, some of you. So it's really good to be good to people, and they'll come and talk to you. So tomorrow, like I said, I want to thank everything, all that's been done here. It takes a lot of time. I know we started this planning here probably 2-3 months ago already, and it does take time to put things together with the food, and you're going to have some movement here tonight. So listen to your chaperones. Tonight, go to bed early. There's no fooling around late at night kind of thing, or running around the rooms, hotels. So do the best you can to listen and to make this whole thing a success for yourselves. And I think leaving here, Saturday, I think you guys will be happy that you made new friends as well. And in closing, I just want to say that I have a lot of friends that come from the Lakota and Dakota. I grew up right beside Standing Buffalo, and a lot of those guys are my good friends right to this day. And I knew them a long time, and I'm happy to say that they got the, I guess, apology that they needed. And I never knew a lot of the, some of the language that was used back in the day, and so I'm really happy about that too, because we're all live together. That's what I was taught that way. Be good to people because we have to live together as a community. And that's what our treaties talk about as well, getting along. Peaceful coexistence we talk about. And that's what you guys got to learn that as well, to talk about your treaties and where you come from, who you are. A lot of times that our young people don't know who they are. They're lost. They dabble in gangs and that kind of thing. So it becomes more and more of an issue. You end up being in custody, pretty soon penitentiary, or somebody may kill you as well. That could happen as well if you don't, bother with, some of the negative things that are there nowadays. I don't want to make anything negative, but I want to say that, on a much lighter note, I'm really happy that, the young people, the boys and girls that are here, the youth. It's really good to see. I can feel the excitement there with, when I walked in here and seen all the youth here today. And I just want to say that I really appreciate you being here, and I thank you. And we do the best as QBOW staff, the management, the board of directors that I work with are really, they really mean well to make sure that our youth and our families are, drug-free and alcohol-free and substance abuse-free. So we want to make sure that we help out as much as we can. And that's by talking, telling different stories that people don't know sometimes, that we struggle. I mentioned that I grew up in poverty kind of thing, and so now when I see with my grandchildren, my children, I make sure that they get the things that I never got, the things that I wished for when I was young, just a little fella growing up, and a lot of disappointment sometimes. And so I want to make sure that that my grandchildren can ask for things or talk about things that are bothering them. I always sit down and ask them, how are you doing? How are you doing? Because sometimes they won't talk to you, right? But again, I better close it off here, and thankful again for the elders, the cultural program as well does a lot for the boys, the families, and that kind of thing. The talking circles, the staff that are here today. Without you guys, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. I want to thank Chief Hardlot, Chief Wadidika, and the rest of the other leadership that may be here. And again, let's have a good 2-3 days here and listen and learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. So we don't have anybody else to speak on the agenda except for me. And I'll try not to speak very long because you guys are going to be listening to me for the next few days as your MC. And also our co-MC will be calling up Roddy Schnana to help as well. And Keith can help as well with the MCing too. But first of all, with all my heart, I say Pidamia to each and every one of you guys for being here. And to our drum, our singers, and for the prayer, and for the flag bearers, the ones that danced in our colors. It's so important to us as an agency to try our best for each and every one of you And we know that not all youth were able to be here, and not all youth were chosen to come. So we thank each and every one of you guys for being here, and our chaperones, and I'll always give thanks to my staff. Our staff do a lot of hard work for your communities. And at this time, I wanna ask all of our Tatanka Naji people in the room to Inashi, stand up. And I want each and every one of you guys to welcome them here. If you're from Tatanka Naji, Inashi, stand up. Thank them for being here. I thank you guys for coming. You guys can have a seat. And I want to ask our Beardees representatives to stand up. Right on. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Stand up, you're from Beardees. Be proud of where you're from. Thank you. And our family from Wakpetan Dakota Nation, Inashi. Inashi. And I know we have some relatives from Wood Mountain that are in the room. We have, if you like to stand up, we have more that are checking in that will be here shortly, but thank you. It's very important for you guys to all be proud of where you come from, to be proud in your heart where you are and where you live. I know it's hard sometimes because our communities, we all see in our communities, we all live there, we all see what's going on in there. But regardless, you're still proud to be where you're from. I told this story at the last youth summit where I grew up, and I was the only First Nations student in my classes at Carleton High School. Everyone else in that room were Wasichu, they're Muniao. And I still had to go to school, and and she told me, I thought you would never make it here. And I grabbed her hand and I moved it. And I said, well, I did. And I walked by her. You guys have so much in front of you guys in your communities, in your homes, being able to go to school in your own communities. I know not everyone in here has that opportunity to complete their grade 12 in their nations, and some of them are still bused into the cities. But there's so much more in the city schools now as well, that welcoming that you guys have, and that openness with the teachers. So you guys have a lot more than we did in terms of education, in terms of respect. That acknowledgement of our territory that they give us now. Even though some of them do it just because they have to, but there are genuine people there that actually are thankful to be in our territories, and they recognize that. So I just want to say that we're here to help you as the best that we can. I tell your chiefs from your communities when we meet with them, I remind them that we're here to work for you guys. All of our QBOW staff, our board of directors, we are all here to work for our people, for our communities of Wahpeton, Beardees, Tatanka Naji, and Wood Mountain. Child welfare is a fast-paced industry. They said that a lot of people are making money off of us. The jails, the provinces with child welfare. So we're here and we're working for our own people in the best way that we can and trying to help keep our families together. I want each and every one of you guys to help each other this next few days. If you see somebody that needs that help, reach out to them. And reach out to our staff. Everyone is wearing tags. All of our staff have tags and they'll be wearing them. Our security have vests. So we're here and we want to learn from you guys. We're not up here to give you guys all the information. We're not up here to say we know it all. You guys are our future. You guys are the ones that are going to be up here. You guys are going to be the ones that are going to be doing all of our events in the years to come. You guys are going to be the ones wearing those headdresses. That's our people, and you guys are always going to be stronger together, like the chiefs had spoken. It's important to always work together. Historically, in the room here, we'd be enemies. Long time ago, ektai hana, they say. We were enemies. And now look at us here today, all trying to find ways to work together, honoring all of our cultures, honoring in the best way we can with our logos. Our logos in the back here, this floral arrangement has the Cree and the Dakota florals in it because we want to honor everyone that's a part of our organization. So with that, I can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna leave it there because like I said, you guys are gonna be listening to me the next few days along with Keith. But we're gonna be doing door prizes throughout the conference as well. And we're gonna have gift cards to give out. Our supper arrangement is different. In the agenda, we were supposed to be down at the sports grounds and we were gonna have a ball game. But due to the weather, we had to take that out because we didn't want anybody getting sick and plus the smoke. So we're gonna be holding our round dance tonight here in this room and our supper is gonna be delivered. The only thing is you guys have to eat your supper in your rooms. So the chaperones will be connected with the prevention workers with our communities, and then you guys will all be given your guys' supper. And then you guys can all come start making your way back down here before 7. The round dance is gonna go from 7 until 10:30 tonight. Just so you guys know, there are some rules. I know not everybody likes rules, but it's for your safety. And we want to make sure that all of our youth are safe at all times while being here. So you must be with your chaperones at all times. And if you're not with your chaperones, you're going to be asked by our staff or by somebody, where are you supposed to be? And they'll ask you to go back to your chaperone. So I ask that you respect them in that respectful way because we're going to respect you guys. Chaperones, this one's for you guys. You're not allowed in the casino. And another thing is youth cannot be in the rooms alone without the chaperones. You need to ensure that you're always there. We want you guys to meet each other. We want you guys to get to know each other, to make friends, to get each other Snapchat or TikTok or whatever you guys do. But you're not allowed in the rooms alone. Just so you guys know. No swimming will happen during the Youth Summit workshops. Your chaperones can take you guys swimming though. Please respect our staff and our security. No cell phone use during our workshops. Our pipe ceremony in the morning is open to each and every one of you guys. Our intention with this Youth Summit was to try and learn from you guys, but also have you guys learn too. So our youth that want to learn, they can go to the teepee in the morning at 7:30. The pipes will be lifted there for our event and also on Friday. So we're gonna be breaking. It's quarter to 6 right now. So you guys have time. Start making your way back down here for 7. Do you guys all have a blue ticket behind your name tag? If anyone doesn't have a ticket, ask in the back. Samantha, raise your hand again. She has the tickets. So you guys can let her know. Just the youth. Are these all? These are, okay. You're gonna get more? Okay. Do it right now? Do it right now? I'm gonna do a few quick draws before you guys leave the room. How about I do it this way? Leave the tickets for tomorrow. What treaty territory are we in right now? Who said 6? 6? What treaty territory is Tatanka Najian? I heard it over here. One of you guys. Name one of the bands or organizations that the Chiefs were from. Somebody said Wapayton. What's the name of our board chair? Somebody said Keith Pratt.